Hey, hello, Californios. What is going on? Shankar Singham here with another Red Star report. Just wanted to do a quick commentary here on how the Nazis operate. So, how the powers that be operate. Um, it flies by everyone's head so quickly. I feel that someone needs to point it out ASAP because otherwise it just goes as the norm. So right now you've got there's a rise in Asian Americans being targeted for hate crimes. They're being assaulted, they're being pushed, they're being shoved on the ground, and blacks are being blamed for them. All these blacks happen to be targeting all these Asian people on in February, Black History Month, right? Black History Month, they decided to target Asian people, right? Well, that's what's being reported widely right now in the press is that there's community unrest between Asians and blacks and that elderly Asians are being beat up, okay? That's what they're saying. So I'm going to give you the scoop because this is Nazi. This is conservatives. This is all their ploy to pit us against each other. And you can see right through their shit. And I only wonder how many times they've done it before. But I'm only saying that because you're looking at two groups of people, Asians who have been discriminated as well, and then black and brown people as well, who've also. So all three groups have been discriminated. Now, Asians, of course, they got it lightly, if you can say that. They did. They got off lightly. Whites gave them a bit of a chance. They were actually allowed to own businesses, some small businesses, but they were allowed to own. I mean, let's just do brief history real quick, just so people out there know the differences between how black, brown people are treated by whites and then how Asian people were treated by Asians. Okay, Asians chose to come to the United States. All right, they chose to come here. They brought some money, maybe they did, but they came over here and they worked their asses off building the railroads of the basic infrastructure of what is now the U.S. Okay, they were discriminated against hugely. They were relegated to service industries, so they could not own a business. The whites said, okay, you want to have a business, all right, you go do laundry, you go do food services, you do service industry stuff. They were never allowed to do construction or land management or politics, anything like that. They were kept out of strictly because they didn't want Asians doing it. That's whites only, right? So also the Chinese Exclusionary Act. So the U.S. government, this is so kick-ass. They gave land to anybody that asked. All you had to do was just go, hey, U.S., can I get some land, please? And the U.S. was like, here is an acre and a mule. Okay, everybody got one. You just had to ask. And that's what makes this country great. It's not considered welfare, okay? Just because you get free land and a horse, it's not considered welfare. And the only stipulation is you had to be white. Yeah. So only white people got land and a horse, right? Asian people didn't get it. Black people didn't get it. Brown people didn't get it. Nobody else got land except for white people. And that was for the Chinese Exclusionary Act. That made it sure that only whites got land. So I'm not going to go in the history of LA and the Chinese massacre that happened here where a few hundred Chinese businessmen were slaughtered and their businesses taken here in LA. Forget about all that, okay? Just know that Chinese people were discriminated, Asian people were discriminated against in the United States. There was a huge fervor of anti-Asian sentiment when there's literally pictures, old political cartoons of a wall being built around the United States. So to keep all the Chinese out, do not Chinify the United States. So there is history of the United States being discriminatory against Asians. Now, far less worse than how black and brown people have it. Imagine if black and brown people were allowed to own their own laundry business or restaurant back in the 1800s. I mean, that would just give them that much more of a boost, right? But no. And they still have the boot on them right now to this day, okay? So whites treated Asians a little bit better, okay? Now, in doing so, Asians did climb that ladder a little bit more. They're into the middle class. So upward mobility for them, it did happen. Now, because it happened faster than brown or black people, do Asian people think that they're somewhat better than black and brown people, that maybe they're smarter than them? Possibly, maybe. Maybe there's Asian people that think that hey, I can do it. Why can't you do it? Now, are there black and brown people that think that hey, Asian people got it real light now? They're upwards. Their upward mobility is way past us, and so black and brown people are racist to Asian people. Of course, that's possible. That could be. But do I believe that? Do I see that black and brown people are assaulting Asian people in large numbers and on the rise this past month? Do I believe that as a fact? Hell fucking no. There's no evidence to back any of that up. And I'm gonna tell you that right now. So yeah, they can be racist against each other. I've seen it in fact, okay? I've seen it in fact. I will say though, the activist community here in Los Angeles, whether it be a BLM event or immigrant event or whatever the event it is, I see everybody out. Asians, Hispanic, white. I mean, I see everybody out. Everybody's out. We're all in solidarity. I don't see any of this animosity between ethnicities or cultures. I don't see any of that shit that the press is talking about right now. Okay, so that's insane. My personal experience here in LA. Let me just go through my notes real quick here. Oh, yeah, the CNN article that I'm about to read right now. Oh, so CNN, I mean, this is who's pushing this agenda. So the narrative that blacks are against the Asian people and are assaulting them. Absolute scapegoating. By who? So there's 3 Asian groups out there that have done the research. I'll have to go to the CNN article to read it, but know that 3 prominent Asian groups across the United States did do a study, and their uptick on reports on hate crimes did go up 2019 and 2020 around when the pandemic hit. It spiked up. Okay, that's a fact. That's a fact. Now these groups also probably know who perpetrated those hate crimes, but for some reason, no one in the mainstream media seemed to report who the main perpetrators of the hate crimes were. Okay, so there is a rise in hate crimes against Asians. Absolutely true. I'm not going to deny that. There is a rise. Who's perpetrating them? That is an unknown. In fact, the police won't even release that data. So to say that black people are the one perpetrating hate crimes against Asians is absolute bullshit. Why would someone say that? Who would that benefit the most? By saying that black people are targeting Asian people in hate crimes. And the rise in numbers of Asian people from 2019 to 2020 was on the rise since the pandemic hit. I wonder why. I wonder what orange jackass called it the China virus and perpetrated this advocacy to hate on all Asians. I wonder who did that. This is a ploy by conservatives, straight up. And the police are backing it up, straight up. During the riots here in LA, when Rodney King was beat up by the cops, and the riots were going off, the Koreans would stand on the rooftops of their businesses armed with assault rifles, even sniper rifles, right? And would shoot at or by somebody that was attempting to come onto the parking lot or come onto their property. Okay, they were defending their businesses. Okay, the cops would corral the rioters who were rioting that the cops got off for beating up an unarmed black person, corralled the rioters towards the Asian communities. Why? Because they knew the Asian communities were armed. And they wanted to push these black and brown people towards the armed Koreans to get shot and killed. This is what the cops do. And the cops are the ones that are feeding into this narrative as well. So back in the 19th century, when there was this Asian scare, they didn't want to Chinify the United States, as I was mentioning before. It was called the Yellow Peril. The Yellow Peril. Right now, officers in Oakland want the neighborhood, the community, to wear yellow ribbons in solidarity to show that they're against anti-Asian hate crime. The fuck? It's so blatantly obvious. This is such bullshit. Look at the cops and how they treated everybody at the Capitol riots. This is white supremacy. This is absolute Nazi. This is pig ideology right here. There is no anti hate crimes against Asians by other minorities. There isn't. Period. End of story. We all know who's perpetrating those crimes, and we all know why, because of COVID. Anyway, that's my rant for this Saturday evening on the last February of the month. I wanted to talk about one more term called minority, the model minority, which is, look, here's Asian Americans, how perfect they are. See, we beat them up too, but look, they came up. Why can't you? They're the model minority. That absolute bullshit just needs to be curbed, because that's coming up all sorts of places right now in light of these hate crimes. So, folks, put your turn on your lights and listen carefully to what's happening out there. Okay, don't listen to it at face value. Look right through it. Look through it, dude. Look through it and look for white supremacy, and you'll see it, man. You'll see it. I swear. All right. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Have a wonderful night and an awesome tomorrow.